just a few kilometers away from the most secure border in the world. There is a small 1.6 kilometer square region where in 1994 Korean government spent $1 billion to build a completely new city. And since then, for last 30 years, the city has generated the same amount annually. But why did the government spend so much money to build a new city? How this small place is able to make billions of dollars? Why this specific location is geographically so important? And how it all connects to one single thing: books. This is the fascinating story of Paju Book City.
The city of Paju captured the attention of the world. That is just south. The DMZ, separating the two Koreas, have been seeking out Paju's various attractions.
Paju City in Gyeonggi-do Province is close to North Korea, both in terms of distance and history.
So, to understand this story deeply, and since I live in Korea myself, I went to the city to try to find answer to some of these questions, to see what it actually looks like today. Talk to some locals to understand the history better, and just watch till end to find out how this story actually turned from industrialization and building big infrastructures to harmony and unity among the community.
वैसे इतना हॉर्न देखने को मिलता नहीं यूजुअली, लेकिन हाँ कोई हॉर्न बजा रहा है.
This book city is located in the actual city of Paju and thus came the name Paju Book City, which actually comes under the Gyeonggi province in the very north of South Korea. And to reach here, you can take a 1 hour ride from the capital city of Seoul, either by a subway or bus. And as you start to reach the west of the city, you will start to see fewer and fewer people with lesser and lesser buildings. And when I actually reached there, I was very surprised to see that the place actually looked abandoned. The buildings were just empty and there were just a handful of people I could see.
हाँ खाली हो चुका है. ऐसा भी नहीं कि काफे भी है, ये भी बंद है. एंड बंद इन द सेंस कि क्लोज नहीं हुआ है, हमेशा के लिए क्लोज हो गया है जहाँ तक है. तो बहुत अजीब है.
The place felt very different from what I imagined. But one thing was certain, that as much as I walked in this region, I could only find two specific things. First, the building architecture was nothing like I have ever seen at any other place in Korea. And the nameplate of every single building just belonged to one single industry: a book publishing house. You see, in late 1989, Korean government realized a big problem. They found out that their entire nation's printing and publishing facilities were all clustered, mostly in Seoul, while others were discreetly distributed across other regions. And at the same time, the industry was facing a huge threat from the increasing global competition, which they soon realized this inefficient system was not ready for. So, to solve this problem, the government came up with an idea. They decided to build a very special economic zone on a 1.6 square kilometer region at the very west point of Paju city in the former floodplain of the Han River. Their biggest goal was to build a specialized industrial city, which will significantly develop the publishing and cultural industry in South Korea by bringing together the entire process from publishing, planning, editing to printing, logistics, and distribution at just one single place.
이는 컬러 인쇄를 하기 위해서 색깔별로 필름을 출력하는 것이죠.
And they did the exact same thing. So today, everything from the inception of ideas to the final distribution of printed works, every aspect of the publishing process can be found here.
यहाँ पे ये सब जो है वेयर हाउसेज हैं, ये सब बुक प्रिंटिंग के लिए या फिर जो उसका सामान है ये प्यूनी का होगा, वेयर हाउस टाइप. एंड इसी तरीके से मैक्सिमम जो बिल्डिंग्स हैं या फिर जो इस एरिया में छोटी छोटी बिल्डिंग्स हैं वो सब ऐसे वेयर हाउसेज ही हैं. तो जैसे एक वेयर हाउस वो हो गया. एंड इस अकेली जगह ने, इस छोटी सी जगह ने लगभग $1 बिलियन का रिवेन्यू करती है. तो हाँ, बुक कैपिटल कह सकते हो कोरिया की. एंड हाँ, इसी वजह से यहाँ पे ज़्यादा टूरिस्ट वगैरह नहीं है. जिन लोगों को बुक में इंटरेस्ट है, बुक्स पढ़ना है, या फिर आसे जॉब्स पे जो आते हैं वो हैं लोग मेनली यहाँ पर.
But an answer to one question was still missing. Why this specific location was chosen to build this industrial city? To find an answer, I talked to some local people there and realized that apart from this place having cheap land and being close to the capital city Seoul was because of the presence of Han River flowing just beside the city, which significantly reduced the cost and hustle for import and export of raw materials and goods for making books to and from other regions of Korea. especially in earlier times when transportation mostly relied on rivers and ships. Therefore, central government was the one to provide state-owned land at a discount, built much of the infrastructure here, offered low-cost financing to tenants, granted a 5-year tax exemption, and funded construction of the cultural center. And the result? Within 3 years, over 360 top publishing companies had joined this cooperative, and thus this region became the publishing culture and information industrial complex of the entire nation. This is the library, and the best and the most interesting thing about this library is that unlike all the other libraries probably in the world, here the books are aligned or stored not on the basis of like science, mathematics, or biology, but in like which publishing house has published which books. Over on my left side, you will find the Munji Publishing Limited books. So all the books that has been published by this corporation or this company are here, are over there, and the same goes for the other companies and all. So this library is known as the Forest of Wisdom and was built as a tourist spot for book lovers. Today, it consists of multiple book themed cafes where you can just sit, relax, and read. Also, there is a bookstore where you can find all sorts of books, including some which are really rare to find at any other place in Korea. So, I got this book, which I thought was very interesting, and it's very patali. It's not a very long book, and it's fun to read, I guess. एंड सभी तरफ सिर्फ पब्लिशिंग हाउसेज एंड मॉडर्न आर्किटेक्चर है। एंड मेरे पीछे आप एक श्राइन देख रहे होंगे, इस वजह से ये श्राइन यहाँ लगाई गई थी क्योंकि ये रिप्रेजेंट करती है कि कितना ही डेवलपमेंट हो, कितना ही पब्लिशिंग एंड बुक्स के थ्रू कितना ही मॉडर्नाइजेशन हो, बट एट द रूट कल्चर को रखना है। तो ये सेंटर पे, इस पूरी सिटी के सेंटर पे उन्होंने ये श्राइन लगाई है। So this is how, by following people's common good over ruthless self-interest and harmony in community over capitalism, Korea built a self-sufficient, environmentally friendly, economical city that has sustained itself for last 30 years and now many more to come.